Krisserin.
Hi, Kelton.
Well, look at you in a hotel room somewhere.
Yes, I am in an undisclosed location.
It's giving Marriott.
It's a
It's
Lowe's
giving
in Kansas City.
yeah, I was gonna say it's giving Best Western.
Oh no, not Best Western.
Listen, I love a Best Western.
I'm Krisserin Canary. And I'm Kelton Wright. Follow our quest to publish our first novels, from first drafts to query letters, through inevitable rejection, and hopefully eventual success. From California to Colorado, this is Pen Pals.
It's the same everywhere you go.
It's like McDonald's, you know? Reliably disappointing. So I had an eventful week.
Yeah.
I
Please tell me.
spent Monday and part of Tuesday evening in the ER.
Is
I
everyone
was
okay?
having It was me. It was me. I was in the ER in St. Louis, Missouri.
Wait,
Um,
what? Okay, I
yeah,
have to clue in the listener. I don't have like track of Krisserin's days, so I don't know what happens when, but there's been two significant family members who have been in the hospital since we've spoken, and I didn't realize that a third one was going to be you. Are you
yeah.
okay?
I mean, neither did I, to be honest. Yeah, started having chest pains, like a sharp pain in my sternum, and I was a little nauseous and a little dizzy, and they were like, "You need to go to the ER." I went to the urgent care. They did an EKG and took a blood glucose, and they're like, "So your friend can drive you, or we're calling you an ambulance." I'm like, "Cool.
Oh
Guess I'm going to
no.
the ER in St. Louis." So I got there at 6 and I was there until 2 a.m. And they did an EKG, a full blood work, CAT scan with contrast. I got like the full workup, and it was exhausting and stressful. And they don't know what's wrong with me. I'm fine now. I feel fine. I'm at a conference in Kansas City, so obviously I'm okay. But it was like not the way that I was hoping to start my week. So,
Oh my God, Krisserin. Um, I
yeah.
mean, it sounds like stress. Could it be stress?
My working theory is that because what I was doing when it started was I was shopping with my best friend from college, so that was not stressful, but we did get a Vietnamese coffee, and I think that might have done it. But I drink Vietnamese coffees all the time. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so at first I thought it was because my friend's a horrible driver, she was making me car sick, which might have been part of it, but I think all of it combined might have done it because I was sitting in the ER and at like, I don't know, hour 3 in the ER, all my symptoms were gone. But when
Yeah.
I met with the doctor, they were like, well, it doesn't look like you're having a heart attack, but it could be gallbladder issue or it could be a blood clot in your lung. So we should have a CT scan." And I was like, fuck, I guess I'm having a CT scan. I didn't want to leave the hospital if it was something like
Yeah.
truly bad, but whatever. I guess I'll see my doctor when I get home from this marathon trip that I'm on, but it was not fun. And then I missed a bunch of this conference that I'm at. It has all of these required meetings that you have to go to for it to be free. And I
Yeah.
missed a couple of them. And I had to be like, sorry, I thought I was dying. So I missed our meeting. But needless to say, I didn't get any writing done since the last time we spoke.
Oh my God.
It's been kind of a crazy week. I did not I started and DNF'd yesteryear.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'm super curious to hear your review of that. As is my way, I have read like 19 reviews of it instead of reading the book.
do you do that? Do you read reviews of books before you read them?
This is the thing I often do with TV and movies is I read exhaustively about the movie and not necessarily reviews, but like about the casting decisions, about the director, about like the production of it. And then I start reading the reviews after it comes out. Like I
Wow.
just like love knowing everything about it rather than watching it, which has resulted in me being pretty good at book and movie trivia,
Mm.
but having no soul. So, but I worried about yesteryear, and so I just kind of wanted to know in advance if I was gonna enjoy it or not. And the reviews really were like, "This is not for you."
Yeah. So with Yesteryear, I feel like she had a really good concept. I think she had a really good idea.
Mhm.
Like, what if we were to take a woman who evangelizes a lifestyle online and make her live that lifestyle, which is really, you know, it's not a bad it's a great concept.
It's an incredible concept. And my
It's an
favorite
incredible
review
concept.
was someone being like, I'm so fucking mad that you had the perfect concept and then you didn't execute it.
Writing is bad. I'm sorry. The writing is really bad. And I think it's this a lot of people talk about, oh, the character is unlikable or this, that, and the other. And I don't really care about that. Yeah, she was unlikable. I think that she was also predictable in her unlikability. And I didn't finish the novel, so I can't speak to the rest of the story, but there's a lot of her throwing in Bible verses to give context to kind of how the character is feeling. And I feel like this is a woman who, and I don't know anything about this writer, so I'm just going to make a bold guess. I think that she failed to do what Ali Hofkosik did excellently, which is write characters with compassion that you don't relate to. I, I think you can tell that she doesn't like her main character.
She said in an interview that she had, for research, interviewed women who had left the church, but as she started drafting the novel, she didn't do any more research, which is crazy to me. Because, like, one, you shouldn't just be talking to people who left the church. You should be talking to people who are in it, because that's what's happening with the character. And then two, the parts when she is thrown in the past, one of the reviews I read really harped on the fact that she'd be like, chores, chores, chores. And it's like the chores of the 1800s are so physical and repetitive and demanding, and to not go into elaborate prose about how a modern woman who has not done any of that feels doing that stuff, to just call it chores, chores, chores. It's like so crazy. There's also so many amazing diaries from that time of women who have lived then that you could just read even for fun. Like, I was thinking this is early 1900s, but Tomboy Bride specifically covers a woman's diary who lived here. And so her descriptions of riding horseback through like 4 feet of snow in a skirt, like while she's like carrying her baby, it's like that stuff is available. It's a rich context. And it doesn't sound like she referenced any of it.
Yeah, it makes you think about when we spoke to Rachel Hockhauser and the amount of research that she did and readings that she did to prepare to show the everyday life of the characters who lived during that time. All of that to say, I know this person wrote a very commercial book that was meant to do a very specific thing. And a lot of people are ripping through it and they're reading it really quickly because they want to know what's going to happen. And I know there's some ending that is some people find satisfying and some people don't. But I'm such an impatient reader that I just can't get over the hurdle of how bad the writing is and how almost, I don't want to use the word, maybe dismissively, she uses Bible scripture as a shorthand for something. It just feels lazy to me.
Yeah.
And even like how she uses it it's not woven into the text well. So it just wasn't for me. It wasn't a
Yeah.
book for me. I'm sure commercially, it's a lot of people will enjoy reading it, but I need a book to be well written for me to want to get through it, and it just wasn't. I'm sorry,
Carol Claire Burke, I think.
Claire, but congrats on your success.
Yeah, I
From
mean, it's,
from one unaccomplished writer to one very well
yeah, to
best-selling
one who's
author.
on the bestsellers list.
Yeah, it's
Good
a pass
job.
for me.
I read 2 books this week, so my goal for the past week was 4 items of personal caretaking, and part of that I took on myself is just reading. And the first book was I finished The Other Valley by Scott Alexander Howard.
Uh-oh.
This
This is
book,
another well
well-received.
well-received, lauded novel.
I think sometimes when you read the back of a book, you should just trust your instincts. There was a bunch of blurbs on the back of this book that were all like, breathtaking, affirming, grief, like philosophical. I was like, I should not have read this book. I will say I really enjoyed the ending. I find that it is kind of rare, especially with literary men, that they finish the book in a way that feels good. They often seem to finish the books in a way that's supposed to teach you something, you
Mm.
know? And he didn't. He finished the book in a way where I was like, that was nice. But it was a long road to get there. That book was really grinding. And there were a few choices in his writing that really frustrated me. One, he is one of those writers who chooses not to use quotation marks as like a
You hate
literary
that.
device.
You
No,
hate that.
no, nope, no.
No,
When
I remember
Sally,
you
no,
commenting.
I was talking about this book, but I don't hate that as a device because I love it in Sally Rooney. I don't notice it when Sally Rooney does it because she does
Mm,
it well.
mm,
The problem is you have to do it really, really well. To like alter the way that we commonly use written language, you have to do it well. And I
mhm,
found myself having to repeatedly reread moments of dialogue to be like, who the fuck is talking? Which part of this was said out loud? What part are they thinking? And
mm.
I just, if I just, I'm not an idiot. Like for me to have to keep going back to be like, what? I mean, I am postpartum, so maybe that's part of it, but I found that really not well done. And then there's also the premise of this book,
Yeah,
and I
remind me because
can't.
I'm forgetting what it was.
So the idea of the other valley is that there's one core valley that you live in, and there's a lake on the side of the valley, and there's ridges on either side. It's a tight valley. It's described as like you can see the fence that goes around the valley, and repeating ad nauseum on the other side of the ridges is other exact replicas of that valley. But if you go one way, it adds 20 years every valley, and if you go the other way, it subtracts them. So you, in theory, can get passes to go look at your past or go look at your present. And there's a bunch of rules, and it's very set up, and most people get denied. And the book is about a young woman whose like first crush dies when she's little, and then what happens over the course of her life and her life in other valleys. And it's set up very much like The Giver, where there's only a couple high schools and everyone is like dropped into a profession permanently. And the professions are very like teacher, uh, orchard worker, counselor. You know, they're very like tidy professions in the same way The Giver was. But they also have cars and they have pop music on the radio. And like they were like throwaway lines. But I was like, so you're telling me in this tiny valley, you have a car manufacturer, you have an oil refinery, you have gas stations, you have car dealerships. Like there's like all these elements that it's like you in this tiny fucking valley that you can see end to end. You have the industry for vehicles and for pop music. Like it fundamentally didn't make sense, took me right out of it. When it was like, even if he had just been like, there's a trolley system, I would have believed that more than there are cars. There are cars in this tiny valley where you can walk to the fence. It took me out of it entirely. And then he also just, like, for shits and giggles, some things have French names and some don't. Like, some of the careers are referred to by their French name and some aren't. And I'm like, why? Why? So, but that said, I thought some of the writing was good. The book made me really feel a lot of things. And I found the ending satisfying. So glad to get it out of the way. I read it, I did my homework, good girl. And then I had ordered on a whim, I just saw this book on bookshop.org the other day. I ordered Agnes Aubert's Mystical Cat Shelter by Heather Fawcett. I have never loved a book so much. It was fast, it was fun, it was adorable, it was consistent, and I found it utterly charming. So if you like a little bit of magic and like a cozy fireplace book, like I cannot recommend Heather Fawcett's Agnes Aubert's Mystical Cat Shelter enough.
It
What
sounds
in
like a book written for Kelton, right?
Oh my God, it was so written for me. It's so like a great protagonist, just like a cozy book. It's such a cozy weekend book.
That's all I want in life is a cozy read. Yeah.
Yeah, and so it also turned me on to Heather Fawcett, who has written a bunch of other books.
I
So
love
I'm
that.
excited to dive into her writing.
Yeah, read her whole library. I found out that I skipped a book in the Juliet Marley series.
No.
And so I've got a whole book to read that I missed. Yeah, I don't know if I want to go back there, but there were 6 books, and I went from the 4th to the 6th, and I only realized it because I bought them as a bundle from the Kindle store. Because you know how you can do that? It'll be like, buy the whole series. So I did. I was like, fuck it. Um, and I somehow missed one. So I don't
So
know.
funny.
I'm supposed to be talking about Yesteryear with all my girlfriends this weekend on this trip that we're going on. I was like, hey everyone, let's read this book so we can talk about it. And then I didn't I'm not gonna finish it. So um one of them, I think one person has finished the whole book and there's a couple that are still like in the process. So it'll be interesting to see how they feel about it because they're not writers,
Yeah.
if they liked it or if they found the writing particularly. They do read a lot. Everyone reads a lot. So it'll be interesting to see. But would you recommend The Other Valley?
If you like books that are philosophical sci-fi, if you like books that are about grief and the concept of time, if you like YA stories,
You
yes.
like The Giver?
I mean, it's funny because if you really loved The Giver, then I would say don't read it because it's like The Giver is a book that stays with you through eternity. Which is, Kate Flanders and I were talking about like the first 30 pages of this book. Like I was saying, I really wanted to read his query letter because it really feels identical to The Giver in the beginning. And then it really diverges. It takes a completely different path. And I don't think that, The Giver has the only ability to write about books where you're destined for a certain job.
Yeah.
I mean that the phrasing of that sentence wasn't right, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So yeah, I did read it. I didn't have to make myself read it. I kept picking up that book to be like, where are we going with this? What's happening?
Mm-hmm.
There were parts where it kind of dragged and got a little depressing, but like I said, it had an ending that was nice.
So maybe?
Maybe. I
Okay.
would give that book like a 6.5 out of 10.
Okay. And the other book, you said Heather
Heather Fawcett wrote it,
Fawcett,
and it is named Agnes Aubert's Mystical Cat Shelter.
and you would give that a 10 out of 10?
46 out of 10.
Okay. You know what's funny at
Listen,
this conference? Go ahead.
Heather Fawcett's, that book is not going to challenge you. That book is a warm hug to people who love cats.
Okay. There you go.
And like it's,
She should blurb
it
you a
is,
warm hug to people who love cats.
yeah. Call me Heather Fawcett. I know you're on Substack. So I remembered that my 4 items of personal caretaking, that was my goal for the week.
Yep.
And as I told Krisserin the day after we recorded, I woke up sick and Woods was sick and now Ben is sick. And I had vertigo again. And it was just like, it just felt like the world was like falling around me. And I think it was like Saturday or Sunday. I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to give myself a beautiful blowout to feel better. And so I started blow drying my hair, and then my blow dryer died. And I like checked all these outlets and it just like didn't work anymore. And then I was like, oh, you know what I have? I have my grandmother's blow dryer downstairs in the other bathroom that I leave there for when my mom visits. And it's worked for the last 25 years. And I brought it upstairs and it blew dry my hair for like 30 seconds and then it died. And like, Ben, who doesn't believe in any like cosmic stuff, was like, well, let me go check the breakers. Like, let's do all this. Like, no, they both just died. And just midway, my hair just looking a mess. And I was just like at my tail end of wits or whatever, just so like, let me just blow dry my fucking hair. And so I did like a bunch of like clearing spells and stuff. And then this morning, I Woods has been sick all week, so he's been out of daycare. So my ability to take care of myself has been like really low.
Finished,
And
yeah.
I was walking with Woods this morning and I ran into a neighbor who has a 4-year-old and went through the same daycare I did. And I was like, "Ugh, Woods still has a runny nose. Like he seems like he's feeling a lot better. Like he played all day yesterday. He's totally himself. But he has a runny nose and I feel bad taking him to daycare." And this neighbor was like, "Are you kidding me, Kelton?" He was like, "Do you know how many kids at daycare have a runny nose? That's why Wood got sick. Like he's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah,
You should take
yeah.
him to daycare." So I took him to daycare this morning and I was like prepared with this like full speech for the daycare provider to be like, "I'll take him back. Like I don't know. This is my first kid." And she was just like, "Kelton, oh my God, he's fine. Just leave him with me." So that was caretaking number one, was just taking my kid to daycare. And then on the way home, at the end of my dirt road into my own special valley, I saw a van for window cleaning services, and it's been something I've wanted.
I see them behind
It's
you.
it's been something I've wanted for a really long time, and I was like, I should pull over and like just get their card. And then I was like, no, you have so much work to do. Just drive home. And so I went home. I took Jibs for a walk, and when I came back, those window cleaners were at my neighbor's. And so I was just like, "Hey, can you come clean my windows?" So they're in my
Amazing.
house right now. They're cleaning my
Yeah,
windows. And so that's one special thing for me.
that's nice. I thought it was Ben cleaning your I couldn't because he's such a tiny little man behind you. I was like, someone's
No.
cleaning their windows.
And those men cleaning my windows brought a corgi puppy.
Oh, oh,
Yeah. So
love that.
I was just out there like petting this corgi puppy. I don't feel like I got 4 items of personal caretaking. It was a hard week, but I do feel like
Yeah.
I got at least like 2.5. And I didn't do any writing. I was just blasted this week, and like, I'm remembering there are some other elements of caretaking I did for myself.
Okay, let's
One,
hear them.
I texted a friend asking her if she could spare an evening to help me go through my closet. She's like a very cool artist. And so she said yes. So we're going to make plans for next week to go through my closet. And then I, every morning, have been having a little smoothie with cassava
Oh,
and collagen. For those who don't
nice.
know, Krisserin works for cassava.
I do.
So it's been my like special be like, okay, get some vitamins, feed yourself. And I'm like blasting through on my supply.
If anyone wants some
I do.
cassava,
I want the chai flavor.
people love the chai flavor.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, just email us and I'll send you a promo code that you can use to buy it at a
Amazing.
discount. Yeah,
Oh, the dream. But those are like little things I did when I
nice.
organized the upstairs. So there were some things.
Okay, you did
I
some
got to take care of
things.
myself. Yeah.
All right, nice.
But none of
Um,
it is about being a writer.
it's okay. You've got to take care of yourself first before you can do those things, you know.
I know.
Yeah,
I was thinking so much about guests that we've had who've just like powered through having a baby and writing. And like it's tough on this podcast because I don't want to ask people like personal details that they don't want to share, but I do sort of want to ask everybody. I'm like, how many minutes away does your family live? Do you speak to them? Do they come over? Do they help? Do you have other
yeah,
people in your network who come take your children? Are your children at daycare? What year did they start? What month did they start?
yeah.
You know, it's like, do you have a job? Do you have a full-time job? How often does that job like ping you? What is your relationship to childcare? Do you have babysitters? Like, I want to ask
Yeah,
all of these questions because I'm like,
totally.
how specific is like, I want, it's tough because those questions are coming from a place of me wanting to know if I am behind, if I could be
Yeah,
doing more, you know? And I think I have to like relinquish those questions to be like, you are doing what you can and you're doing a lot of it really well. So just stop it
you can't.
and take a
You know what
breath.
they say about comparison? You can't compare. You're doing the best you can. You're probably doing better than most,
Yeah, I mean,
considering.
yeah, I mean, for sure, considering, but it does feel like, you know, in all those questions, I do prioritize clients and money over writing like almost all of the time. And I've been really trying to focus on like the first 30 minutes are for the book, etc. But when the first 30 minutes are like my husband and kid are both sick, I'm sick.
Yeah.
It's like I just like I can't do it. And so all that's
know.
left is client work. And I just like, I know a lot of our listeners relate to that where they're like, I'm trying and it's just like not happening. And I feel it.
Yeah, I bet. Well, you know what I'm going to tell you.
Yeah.
You got to take care of yourself first and be gentle with yourself. And we do the best that we can, but it's hard to look at other people who from the outside seem like are doing more and doing better.
Yeah, I just usually want like a playbook. I'm like, like
Tell me what
how'd
to
you do it?
do. Yeah.
Tell me like how did you do it? I think that's like one reason I really love this one financial podcast I listen to because like you get the ins and outs of how they fix their finances. And most of these episodes do not relate to my personal financial situation at all. I'm just curious about like their game plan. And I think that's one thing I like love in books too. And any book that I'm like struggling with, it's usually because I'm like, what are you doing? What's your plan? What are you doing? And I think about that a lot with my character. I'm like, what is she doing? What is she trying to move forward? Like, because right now, like at least the book, a lot of it feels like it's happening to her. And I know that there needs to be such a good balance of her like having conviction and taking action and then things happening to her. So life lessons for writing.
I find it so interesting that you do all of that research before reading a book or watching a movie. I go into everything blind.
I will say, like, that mystical cat shelter book, like, I didn't even read what it was about before I bought it. I saw the cover on bookshop.org and I put it in my basket and it showed up at my house and I opened it. It's like, it's not for everything. It's usually for the things that I have a lot of trepidation around engaging with, where I'm like, I want to know about this thing because it's part of culture, but I don't want to, like, actually spend that time with it.
I like to have unadulterated experience with something, and then I do that. After the fact, I'll read up on it and watch a documentary about the making of it or whatever, and then watch it again if I'm still interested. But I like to have that afterwards. So, yeah, Hamnet, for example, had a whole 10-15 minute about, I told you about this, the making of the movie and the adaptation of the novel. And that was interesting after the fact, but I think if I watched it beforehand, I would have probably not watched the movie. I'd like, pass. Yeah, it's hard for me. It does make me wonder how, I mean, the concept is really interesting, and maybe the concept alone sold the book, but you always hear about how you only have a certain amount of time to capture the reader, and that if it's not propulsive and carrying you through it, it's just going to be a no. No agent's going to want to sign you, no publisher is going to want to purchase it. How these books get bought and sold. It's curious to me.
I mean, let me do I want to see a quick Google of Yesteryear on Goodreads. Because my impression is some people fucking love this book. And it seems true. Out of 25,000, out of 122,000 ratings, it has a 4.1. And I think like the goal on Goodreads is 4 and up, And the other Valley, the one that I pushed myself through and liked the ending, that was 3 something. I think he had like a 3.87. And not to say that these are accurate, but like I think there is a reason that Yesteryear is so popular, and some of our taste as writers is going to really influence what's a fun book to read.
Well, you say the other Valley was kind of a grind. From what I hear of Yesteryear, people get through it really quickly. People want to turn the page. They want to know what's going to happen. Everyone wants to know how is it that she woke up in this time? Like what was it?
Does it explain that?
The ending does.
Okay.
Apparently.
Okay. At least something does.
I don't think I would have needed to know. If it was written well enough, I wouldn't have cared. I feel like, to your point, if the life she was living was well painted and the character doesn't change. Like her arc is non-existent from what I
Yeah.
understand. She's as terrible in the
Yeah.
beginning as she is in the end. There's no growth there. So I think that if there had been, people probably wouldn't care as much to understand why. You hyperfixate on the why because you want to know like what was the reason for her to go through this, you know?
Yeah.
If anyone who's listening to this podcast has read this book and liked it, please email us and tell us at officialpenpalspod@gmail.com and tell us what about it you liked. I feel
I
like
think
such
I
an
have to read
asshole.
it. I think I have to read it now. I was just, it's like you're a billionth on the wait list, and she has a movie deal, so I didn't feel like I needed to purchase this book. So I was just waiting until the hype died down to get it from the library.
Yeah.
But now it seems like I just need to get it on like Libby or something and read it on my iPad, which I disdain, but I will do
Well,
it
Libby's
to
also going to be
participate in the
like,
discourse.
you're 150th in line for this novel. I bought it because I needed to read it for this trip, and I went
Yeah.
to go see if I could return it. That's how much I disliked it. I think if you read a certain percentage of the book, you can't return it anymore. And I think I got too far into it for it to qualify, but I was very mad. I was like, I don't want to give this woman my money. I feel bad. I again, congrats to the writer for her success, but I'm bitter about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a good concept. So if nothing else, she's an amazing concept creator.
It's true. Did you have a good Mother's Day?
I did have vertigo. I also, I thought I had like really articulated exactly what I wanted, and I didn't get either of those things. And so I was just like a little bit of a bitter bunny, even though, the day was spent like taking care of me. There were just like two things that I was really looking forward to. So I just, but that's a bummer. But so yeah, I don't know, things have just been like not feeling amazing lately. And I'm just trying to look toward June as like a clearing.
Yeah.
And now my windows are clear. So I'm really happy about that. That was like one of those chores that we were just kind of like, always arguing that like we could do it ourselves. And I was like, well, but why? Like, we're at a point now where like it's a huge chore. It's way faster for people who have the right ladders and know what they're doing. And like it took them like an hour to clean the whole front of the house. The whole front of this cabin is windows. It's like a typical A-frame cabin in that way. And so
And
like
they're
having someone else
professionals,
do
and it took
that.
them an hour.
Yeah. Totally. It was super fast and it was like worth every penny, especially because normally you have to pay them a $200 service fee to come here. But because they were already here, he just waived it.
Amazing.
And I was like, oh, you're a dream. You're a god amongst men. And you have a corgi. Like you're a good person. I appreciate your presence in this valley.
Well, now you know to work with your neighbors, to coordinate, to do it together.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. And I picked up two books I wasn't expecting from the library that I'd been on hold for ages. I'm not sure how to pronounce this. Piranesi by Susanna Clark.
Yeah.
Is that right? And I
Yeah.
started that yesterday, and then I
It's
also
supposed to be really good.
Yeah, that's what everybody says. So, and then I got Dungeon Crawler Carl by Matt Dinniman.
Oh, nice.
So these are two books that I have like really been anticipating. If I really love either of them, I'm definitely going to buy them to add to my library. But like I've just been trying to focusing on reading and like giving myself the grace to not write the newsletter. It's so nice. It's so nice just taking a break and not looking at like, are people unsubscribing? I'm like, it doesn't fucking matter. Like, don't worry about it. Like, I think that's like just a big part of like being a writer is like you have to let your system recuperate sometimes. You have to do other shit. And like I haven't been able to like go out and do things as much as I wanted for inspiration since of the illnesses, but hopefully the end of May is a little more forgiving. And I had some pretty good client news recently too. So that's nice.
Is it
Yeah.
healthcare related client news?
Well, yeah, I have healthcare. I got my hours extended. So, that means I have a daycare FSA. It means I have healthcare. It means I have a 401k, like all of these things that weren't available to me. But it's really nice to have a lot of that stuff built in as infrastructure to a role. And I have, one client was going away and like right when they said that, I got an email from another client asking if I wanted to be on a long-term contract. So that stuff has been feeling really good. Eventually I'll wean this child and life will change.
Well, I'm interested to hear how you feel about Dungeon Crawler Carl because Kennette did not like it.
No?
She said it was too gruesome.
Oh, I think I'll love that.
I don't know.
I'm pretty into the gruesome writing. I find it
She doesn't mind it. I think the way it was done in this book in particular, she was kind of turned off by. So
okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll be keeping Kennette in mind as I read it. I am reading Piranesi first, and so I will keep you posted.
Okay.
But reading life is rich.
Love that. Yeah, I tried to read in the hospital and it just like Yesteryear was not hitting, you know. I watched
No.
lots of episodes of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Also, there are this series of books by an author named Elle Kennedy that are all college romance novels about these hockey players that live in a house together at this, fictional college. And they were fun books to read. And Amazon Prime just came out with the series for the first book, and I've been watching it, and it's pretty good. It's
What's
pretty
it called?
good. So, Off Campus.
Oh, I thought I was gonna guess because I keep seeing clips of it in my Explore feed, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't currently have a Prime account because I'm a snob, but I am. Eventually, we are gonna get a Prime account so we can watch the rest of Fallout, but we're waiting like for a few years until the series is done.
I feel you on that. But yeah, it's on Amazon Prime. I'm really enjoying it. I think the acting is really well done. And I think Amazon, as much as we hate Amazon, they did Project Hail Mary also. I think that they're doing some good original content.
Yeah,
Or
but they
like
also
adapted content.
canceled what was that Lady Jane Grey show? And I
Yeah.
loved that show. And they were like
That show
one
was fun.
season. I'm
I don't think
sorry, but
people
you
watched
actually
it.
should just. I mean, the people who did watch it were voracious. There was no
Because it was
advertising for it.
amazing.
It
I
was
know.
so good. I'm like so sad about it.
Yeah, that was a really cute show. It was a great concept. You know what really pisses me off about Hollywood is like, I'm like, oh, I really like this actor. They're so interesting. And they're all fucking nepo babies. And I'm like, ugh, I like them less now.
Yeah, I mean, inevitably, it's just like, I think about that sometimes with writing, where it's like I came to writing really late professionally as like in the creative aspect. I did it most of my career, but like I was just, taught and believed and showcased that there was not a way to make money from art. And I just had no one even around me who exemplified that lifestyle. And so it didn't seem possible until I had diversified my own life enough to see it. So like even just being around those people, like to like see that it's possible. And I try to like just dismiss my age when I think about writing, where it's like, yeah, I mean, you've only been doing this truly for your own sake creatively, like thinking it's an art option for like maybe 10 years. So and getting that leg up. And it's also like I understand it's like you grow up in a family of like a director and an actor. It's like, yeah, most of those kids are going to want to be in the industry that they've, grown up around. And so I feel bad being like, oh, good for you. Because it's like if I had literary parents who were like, you should turn this into a book when I was like 17, it would have been bad, but it would have been encouragement in that direction. I would have had more time to like work on my craft. And I wouldn't want people to be like, oh, good job. It's tough because like these people are following their dreams and they just happen to be like attractive and well connected.
I listened to Lisa Rinna's audiobook, it was good in the beginning and then it got really repetitive at the end. But her daughter is a supermodel. And I was like, yeah, of course she's a supermodel. Her parents are Lisa Rinna and Harry Hamlin, and they're individually beautiful people. And of course, their child is going to be fucking gorgeous. I think that nepo babies, they get opportunities that you and I would never get at a very young age. They still have to do the work. They still have to, work hard to become good at their craft, but they get a lot of opportunity to try. And so we can be
Totally.
bitter. We can be bitter bunnies about it. But
Yeah, and
it's
it's
the
like
truth.
you're saying with like Lisa Rinna, it's like sometimes it's just genes. Like when athletes, kids become
Totally.
athletes, it's like,
Totally.
well, they still have to be able to kick a field goal, like
Yeah.
they're not just getting on the team because their dad was. And I think it
Yeah.
feels really different in acting and in music and in writing, like those more
Yeah.
subjective crafts where it's like you having the access to the doorway, having an introduction is the part that really matters.
Totally.
And then it just feels like, oh, God.
Yeah. Well, because I mean, I was an athlete, and I think that a perfect example of that where I had a lot of natural talent, but not the work ethic for it. I feel like athletes have a very specific mindset. It's not mine. I don't own it at all. You have to be really dedicated and really obsessive about wanting to be good at what you do.
Mhm.
That's how you become a good athlete. Same goes with writers, but let's say your parents were athletes, it doesn't guarantee you. You still have to perform. Like you have to win.
Mhm.
You have to be the best. You have to be the fastest. You got to jump the highest. And no amount of connections is going to get you that gold medal, right? But speaking of effort, let's talk
Let's talk
about
about
what our efforts are for the
goals.
next week.
Goals. I don't know. I mean, I still think that I am in a rehabilitating phase.
Same.
I just I know like I want to like accomplish a lot for the sake of this podcast and like me being a writer. But I also recognize that things have been kind of hard and I don't have my normal chutzpah and I don't really want to have a goal about writing. I want to have a goal that's similar to last week's where it's just like have a little fun, do something a little strange, like go for a
That's what I was gonna
run.
say. Can we do something fun?
Yeah,
Can
can
we
we
do
do something
something
fun?
fun?
What does that look like as a goal though? I that is one of my core things about living in the middle of nowhere that is a little challenging. You sent me this very cute list earlier in the week about like easy ways to have fun. And my brain was like, well, I can't do this one because this is closed. And I can't do this one because this is closed. I can't do this one because it doesn't exist. And so, that'll get easier as off season weans. But like even the bookstore here is closed for off season. My options are limited.
You know what I was thinking? I know you have a lot of books that you're going to be reading, and this isn't exactly the definition of fun. What about reading some poetry? Because it's just a poem. It's like one page, you know?
Yeah,
I
I
was
mean,
I don't know how somehow I got I think I must have liked one piece of content that was a poem on TikTok, and now I'm getting a lot of poetry delivered to me, and I'm like, you know, um, sometimes I'm like, I don't know, but I find reading short stories and poetry is quite inspiring, and they're
I
bite-sized.
don't. You know what I actually might be interested in reading? I think I might take a page from Kate Flanders' book and read some middle grade fiction. I think
Oh,
doing something really low stakes. Poetry, it's like it's fun. It's for me, it's like going to the modern art museum where I'm like,
you don't like modern art?
art.
You're so funny.
You
If I
know,
can,
I it is intellectually something I can appreciate. But that's the thing is I'm not looking for something I can intellectually appreciate this week. I'm looking for something that smooths my brain and pets
oh,
it like
you should
like a little
you should
rabbit.
watch you should watch Off Campus on Amazon.
I think what I am going to
Can I
do is
suggest
spend a
some
lot.
housewives to you?
Oh my God. We're not watching TV. The TV's in the closet. So, um, I uh I do think that it's time for me to just spend some more time in the woods and read some like just warm and jolly shit. I mean, the cat shelter book truly was like it
Yeah, you
just
need some
felt
more
like
of
it felt
that.
like someone just like giving me like a genuine hug and being like it's okay. You'll be who you remember yourself to be soon. she's there. Like, give it a second. But yeah, I feel very far removed from who I was like 6 months ago, which is annoying.
Yeah, I feel that. I just feel like my body is trying to tell me something about how I've been operating. I had 7 hours and 45 minutes of non-restorative sleep last night. I was like, fuck you. What the fuck? Okay, so you're gonna read some middle grade fiction. You've got 2 books out from the library. When are you gonna get middle grade fiction?
Well, I think I need to look up some books. I don't really know much about that genre. So I need to spend some time thinking about what it is I want to read. I am really excited about the books I do have to read. I still really want to read, I think it's Catherine Arden's The Bear and the Nightingale.
Oh
I
yeah.
keep asking the bookstore to stock it, but obviously they're closed, so I'm waiting. And I think a couple of art projects might be good for me.
Yeah.
So I did start a project where every day I have a Colorado guidebook to fauna, and I was just opening to a random page and drawing that animal. And I found that really satisfying. But in my organization of the upstairs, I came across all my paint supplies. And I was like, maybe it's time to do a little painting again. Um, I have some time when the child is at daycare when he's well that I could do that. So I think an art project is in my future.
Love that. I love that. One middle grade fiction book that I recommend to everyone is The Ogress and the Orphans by Kelly Barnhill. It is so freaking well written, and the chapters are really short. So it's definitely one you can keep on your kitchen counter and like read in
Okay.
small snippets. This is the one that has multiple POVs, including the crows. The
Oh,
crows,
okay.
and
All right, I'll get
they
that
think
one.
really highly of themselves, which I
Oh,
love.
well, as they should. They're an incredible species.
There's a chapter told from the perspective of the rock that lives in the middle of the city, of the town.
Okay, well, I'm kind of obsessed with this book already, so
Yeah. Yeah, it's really, really well written. It is an incredible book. I feel like when you think middle grade fiction, you think of things that are a little bit more contemporary stories that are relevant to kids that age. But this book is a fantasy book that is for middle graders that is just remarkable. I think every adult should read it. Okay, well, I don't have any goals for the week.
yeah, but your goal
So
is also to take care of yourself since you're checked out of a hospital into a Best Western in Kansas. Like, I think that.
I'm in Missouri. Okay, I'm in
Okay, all
Kansas
right,
City, Missouri.
excuse me, Missouri. Well, a lot better. Home of my worst ex-boyfriend. But I
Oh,
think you can find a way to take care of yourself.
my worst ex-boyfriend. That is funny. I will tell you though, St. Louis is such a beautiful town. So if anyone is listening from Missouri or St. Louis, I was so incredibly impressed with how beautiful the architecture is and the nature. And I went to the historical museum, the Missouri History Museum, while I was there, and kind of a fucked up place, Missouri,
Yeah.
racially speaking. Like I learned about the World's Fair. They imported a bunch of Filipino people over to show how, like, look at we're civilizing these savages from the Philippines to support the colonialism we were doing there.
White people.
I was like, cool, 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 cool. But I'm Missouri. I'm actually very impressed with how beautiful it is. And
It's supposed to be really beautiful nature.
mhm. It's like a lot of really pretty old trees. It's flat as fuck though. I don't like flat places. They weird me out. I need mountains, at least in the background, you know?
You need to like
Like
see where you can escape to.
I think mountains put life into perspective, you know? Boyan's from a mountain area in Bulgaria, and they say that mountains grow men and valleys grow pumpkins.
Wow, okay.
I
This
like
says a
that.
lot about the Bulgarians.
Listen, they
Okay, but what
survived
is your
hundreds of years of Ottoman rule
what is
and
your goal?
communism to keep distracting you from the fact that I haven't set one yet. That's my goal. You give me a goal.
When do you get home? You be home this week?
Not until next Monday.
Are your evenings all booked there?
once I get to Vegas on Friday, I'm going to have a very full, busy weekend with my friends. So
Could you go out to the movies while you're there?
I mean, I only have tonight, really. I would have to go out to the
Oh, if
movies
that's it.
tonight. I
Well,
think
that's a little
I would
much.
rather just like stay in bed and watch something, maybe order room service. Or I don't even know if they have room service at this hotel, to be honest with you.
Well,
There's
I'm
a
sure
restaurant downstairs.
you could get door dashed to this hotel from something that
Yeah.
you really like.
Yeah.
So I think tonight's order of business is a DoorDash feast,
Okay.
or, Uber Eats, whatever your corporate evil system of choice is.
Grubhub.
Um,
Maybe some Asian food. I'm kind of tired.
yeah.
I had like a 14-ounce steak for dinner last night. I didn't even finish it. I felt horrible. I was like, I couldn't eat anymore.
Oh man. What else could you do that's really nice for yourself? I'm trying to think of things that like you don't prioritize. Like I'm not talking about housewives. Like you have enough of that in your life. What's
Never
like a
enough.
real salve? Could you book some kind of
No.
spa treatment in Vegas?
I could do that.
Why
I
don't you
could do
book
that.
some kind of like nice spa treatment?
Okay.
I actually have that coming up for myself. I like weeks ago booked myself a facial, and that's going to happen on Monday.
Oh,
So
nice.
yeah.
Yeah, I'll see if anyone, because a lot of my friends are going to see No Doubt at the Sphere, and I didn't want to do that. Love
No
No Doubt,
Doubt?
actually. Yeah,
Yeah, but Gwen Stefani's
exactly. She's a freaking weirdo
yeah,
now.
she's
And the
a
Sphere makes
real
you,
punk trader.
the Sphere apparently makes you nauseous if you get seasick, and I do. So I was like, I don't need to spend that money. I'd rather go shopping. So that was the plan, was we were going to go vintage shopping in Vegas while the girls are going to that show. But I could squeeze in a spa treatment.
Do it. Spa treatment. Listen,
Okay.
it's like if we're truly burnt out and overwhelmed and not inspired and like have the time and the cash to do something nice for ourselves, like I really think that we should do that. We should practice what we're preaching at each other and take care and take heed.
All right. Done. Well, everyone else who's listening, take some time this next week to do something nice for yourself as well. If you don't have the funds to book a spa treatment, go on a nice walk, listen to a fun, sleazy book, do something kind
Yeah,
for yourself.
text a friend and ask them to go through your wardrobe. I mean, it's just like I would have you over here in a heartbeat if you lived here, but
I would do it.
I need
I would
someone
do it.
ruthless, and I know that you would be.
I would be. I love purging closets. And yeah, text one of your friends. If you didn't do it last week, ask them how their writing's going. In the meantime, email us at officialpenpalspod@gmail.com. Follow us on all of the platforms at penpalspod. You can follow Kelton at KeltonKin on Instagram. You can read her writing at shangerlogs.substack.com. Learn about all of her courses at keltonwright.com. You can follow me on TikTok at Krisserin, or read my writing at krisserin.substack.com. And if you wouldn't mind leaving us a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you listen, we'd appreciate that too.
Go leave your favorite authors some reviews on Goodreads. Give them a boost.
Yeah, because 4.1 seems a little high for Yesteryear, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
But
Mystical Cat Shelter is currently at 3.94, so I'm determined to get Heather Fawcett up into the 4s because that book is adorable.
I have homework for you. You need to write to her and tell her how much you loved her book.
I am going to, actually. I have a tab open on my computer with a DM to her on Substack.
Good. And you should post about it on Substack too, with a picture of the cover and how much you loved it. Yeah.
I will. That's smart.
She'll appreciate it. Maybe you guys will be BFFs.
All I need is one more person to tell me to get a cat, One more person.
One more person. All right, everyone. Thanks for listening this week. Sorry we weren't more uplifting, but sometimes that's the way life goes.
Sometimes that's it. Slide into our inbox. We only have a few episodes left for this season, and we'd love to answer any questions you have about your projects or anything getting in your way. We love having you here. So happy writing.
Happy writing.